awful. Yeah, absolutely awful.
Yeah, oh yeah. I mean, the swimming lessons that they learn all bubbles and.
Maisie's back. She jumped off the dock. We went on Friday up to Roach, and she jumped off the dock. She just off the dock. She went swimming in the river over the park. I thought she was gonna freak out. No, I was like, you apparently don't get it. Yeah, it's like you don't understand the river. I don't think because you should be scared.
And is this here temporarily, but I promise
All right, today's date is July 16, 2018. It's 6:30 p.m. and this is the Motley regular council meeting. I'm going to call the meeting to order. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everybody, for coming. Lisa, you want to do a roll call for me, please?
Councilmember Johnson?
Here.
Councilmember Hutchison? Here. Mayor Yoder?
Here.
Councilmember O'Regan?
Here.
Councilmember Carlson?
Here. Thank you. We'll go right to the consent agenda. I'm looking for a motion to approve from A to F.
So moved. I will second that.
Motion made by O'Regan, second by Carlson. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We don't have it on there, but I'm just going to ask, does anybody have anything they want to either take, add, or delete from the agenda?
I do.
You do?
I have an update on the Minnesota Power electric charging station
Okay.
agreement.
You want to put it underneath your
Sure.
your office?
Yeah.
All right. Let's do it on before the comments.
Yep.
Okay. Planning Commission.
We don't have any actionable business coming forward.
Okay. Move on. I don't think we have anybody have anything for the building department. So we'll move on to old business. Looks like we have a water tower lease agreement, which is page 19 and 30.
And real quick, oh, they are working. Never mind. Mine just won't turn off. I thought they weren't working.
Ours doesn't turn off either.
Okay.
Lacey, you want to fill us in on that one?
Yeah, so we went back to Verizon and asked for the 125% increase every 5 years. They came back and said no, that's sort of a thing of the past, that they haven't done a contract over 10% in the area for a few years, or 110%. So they didn't agree to the 125%, but they did raise the base beginning rent. You'll see that on page 20. It was at $21,600 each year for 5 years, and they're starting at $24,000 instead. So in the end, what it means is their initial offer to us was this is over 25 years, a total of $659,000. We went back to them, what would have been a total of $891,000, and they came down to $737,000. So we got some extra out of that, but they wouldn't agree to the rest of it. So at this point, we're looking to see if there are any other changes we want to make to the agreement, or if, as it stands, you guys agree with it and we can sort of move forward. It's a long process, but.
I think it's good that we asked for what we did. Got something out of it. Actually, in the long run, we got quite a bit out of it.
Yeah.
I'm okay with the way it reads.
Okay, you making a motion?
I will make a motion to accept the water tower lease agreement.
Okay, motion made by Carlson, looking for a second.
I would second that.
Second by Hutchinson. Any more discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Does anybody have any unfinished business they want to bring forward for old business? And we're going to start with new business, agenda request from Sherry Frisk, trunk or treat event, page 31. Sherry?
Are you ready?
We're ready.
I'm going to be working on this project with Bill Johnson. We are interested in making a safer environment for children to go trick-or-treating. Parents work. Trick-or-treating is on a weeknight. Parents work, they get home late, the kids are out in the dark. We're proposing to have trunk or treat on Saturday, October 27th from 2 to 4 at the middle school parking lot. And I've already talked to the middle school principal this spring about it. And we would talk to the organizations in the area, the churches, to provide games. And we would like all the residents to participate, you know, open up your trunk, decorate if you want, come in costume if you want, and I'm hoping to have the fire department here, police department, fire department. I'd like to have something here from Camp Ripley. We're just starting these new ideas, but this is what we're proposing to do. It'd be from 2 to 4, and also somehow get the businesses participating, or the kids to go to the businesses and trunk or treat at the same time. So this is what we're thinking of.
Sounds real good.
Now, on another thing, and if we get this approval, I would like it to be put in the newsletter that the City Hall puts out. Plus, we would advertise in the newspaper, and I have 3 ideas here. Full flyers for the kids at school. That'd be ages from toddlers or newborns on up to 6th grade.
Cool.
So
We could put it on our website too.
that would be great. So that's all. And then, you know what I talked about earlier, but I'll be coming back to the council for the Christmas ideas.
Okay.
Okay.
Very good.
Thanks.
Thank you. I don't know if we need to make a motion on that, if we're all, if you guys all agree with it.
I love the idea.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I don't think we need to take any action.
You got our blessing.
Okay, thank you.
Chelsea Robinson, Morrison County Auditor Treasurer Candidate, page 32. Chelsea, you got the floor.
Hi,
Hello.
you want me to come on up?
You can just stand right there if you want.
Okay.
Yep.
Hello everyone, I'm Chelsea Robinson. I'm a candidate running for Morrison County Auditor Treasurer's Office. I wanted to come here today to let you guys know, just kind of meet myself, who I am, what I do, and why I think I'd be a great candidate for the position. I live in Little Falls, Minnesota, born and raised in Morrison County, married to a husband, Tyler Robinson, and we have a little guy named Jack. He's 4. Right out of graduating high school, he started working at U.S. Bank as a part-time teller and got promoted within the 9 years that I was there to management. Overseeing the staff, worked with operations, budgeting, accounting, finance, worked with all the community. Everyone comes in, people from around here. So I may have refinanced your guys' mortgage, or gave you your first car loan, or helped your kids through college.
So you're the one.
I may be, but I stand for all good. So I have a great background in the investing budgeting world. The last couple of years I have been working in the Morrison County Auditor Treasurer's Office as the account specialist, deputy auditor treasurer. What my job duty entails is exactly what the auditor treasurer can do and does do. So if the auditor treasurer is out, I can step in and take what action needs to be done. We cover a lot of bases in our office as far as property tax collection. We collect millions of dollars in a short amount of time. Budget them and then distribute them out, all the monies to the schools, counties, what have you. So we work a lot in our office. Busy times, we have elections, for the elections and getting everything organized. Working for with the cities and the schools. Also, just a tidbit was working in the office. I know the pros and cons, what's going on in the office, what the current concerns are in Morrison County that have been brought to the board. A couple issues have been brought up, and addressed to the board, such as like Shamina, the rise of the tables turning over there, and then the issues, concerns of what the residents have. So I am aware of that, and I know what's going on. And if I were to be in office, I do understand what needs to be done as far as the auditor treasurer's part. I also know about motor vehicle and the MNLARs, how they're struggling getting through that with the changes. If you guys go and renew your tabs, I'm sure you've seen the lines and how to deal with that. So I have plans to restructure a little bit for the better. I have options to bring to the table to the board, county board members, and also the county administrator. I have ideas in making tax payments easier for people, different options, not saying that you can't pay your taxes, but different options. There's so many different ways that you can pay. There's different counties that do different payment plans. So I plan to bring a little bit of different options to the board. Hopefully I can pass some policies to make things better for the people paying taxes. Also, as far as the board and working with the board, we take care of the land transfers that come through the office. They go to the recorder's office, and it kind of follows through a little path. But we are one of the offices where it goes to the recorders. If you're selling your property to your neighbor or what have you, it goes to the recorder's office, and then it comes into our office for review to sign off to make sure that the names are correct, the legals, your taxes are current and they're not delinquent. And what I'm getting at is when people do splits, property transactions, sometimes the legals can be a little messy. And so I have an idea of bringing a different policy to the board, an option that we can put in place to maybe, at the round table when you're doing your closing, that when you're doing a split, maybe doing a little bit of extra paperwork, but at the long run, it's going to save you time in the end and in the future as far as selling your property down the line, making the legals a little bit cleaner, nicer, and easier for you to work going forward. Do you guys have any questions at all for me?
Can you make the floor of the 5 of us, for sure the 3 of us, our taxes go down?
No. I know everybody's like, well, as long as you can lower my taxes, then you'll be my candidate. But obviously, we can't say that. But I do plan to work with the state legislators closely on concerns that people have as far as property taxes, elections. We have grants that we have and new equipment that we can purchase. So there's just so many things out there, and now's the time to change, and I see a different light, if you will.
Good. Now, there's a primary, right? It's going to be a primary?
There is a primary election. There is 4
Because there's 4
candidates running. Yes, so August 14th is the primary election. So
Perfect.
get out and voice your opinions, make your opinions heard. Everybody counts, so that's why I'm here, to let you guys know who I am and what I do, what I believe. I'm for the county, I'm for the people, and I'm here to listen.
Cool. Thank you.
So thanks
Thank
you
you for
guys
coming.
for letting me come in and visit.
And I will put a little plug in for her, is that when she was at our parade, or your father-in-law was here,
Yeah,
I just mentioned, have her call me. Well, the next day I got a call, so.
yes, I'm on top of things, and I won't let things go, and if you guys need anything, to support you in any way. I know that I work with Lacey, she's had questions in regards to taxes and some operations that go on in the office, and I'm able to assist her, give her the right information, so
Perfect.
it's a big deal. Yes, thanks you guys.
Well, thanks for
Thank you.
coming.
Yes,
Thank you.
All right, now we go to Dan Deming from Morris, page 33.
It's actually Ron.
Or Ron, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah, you're right.
I'll try to be brief here. First, I'd like to thank you for allowing me to be part of the agenda this evening. I appreciate the communication and conversations that I've already had with Lacey and Bruce and Mary Yoder. Morris has had a pretty good tradition with the city, a good relationship, and we certainly want to continue that for years to come. What I'm here tonight is to ask the city council to consider waiving or greatly reducing a charge that was added to our water and sewer bill. Since 2014, our average range of invoices has been in the $14,000 to $17,000 per month, with the highest invoice in excess of $27,000, which was an explainable event that occurred in July of 2017. Earlier this year, we received an invoice in excess of $85,000. We looked inwardly first and tried to explain what may have happened from within our organization. We did reach out to Bruce and Lacey and had some conversations. Also had some conversations with the mayor. We have no explanation why there would be a spike like that based on our production records or anything like that. With no event that would help point to why this would occur. Our concern is that the 24-hour composite sample that is taken may have been an error. Not the sample order, we're saying the sample we feel may not have been correct. And therefore, we don't agree with the additional charges that were included on that bill. It's important for me to state that I'm not here to create any angst or cause any issues. I'm merely here asking that based on historical patterns and no explainable event, that the city of Motley can seriously consider waiving or reducing those additional charges. The test results added roughly $19,700 and some odd dollars to our normal charges, and then an additional $48,700 of additional fees for a total in excess of $68,000. What I would ask is if you could discuss our request, if there's any questions, if you could list those so we could properly address those questions, so we can come to a reasonable conclusion. Again, the request for credit is similar to if we had an additional charge on our own home expenses. We would ask why, and if no reasonable explanation of fact was given, we would seek a credit with a fair resolution. That is what we're asking. So, thank you in advance for your consideration.
Thank you. Thank you. How does the council feel?
I guess first up, I have a couple of questions if I could. And I apologize, I've been gone for the last couple weeks. So we did get some pictures. Where is the sample pulled from? Bruce, does that come from their facility, our ponds? How?
It comes from the manhole out on the north side of their building, coming out of their building, or in the street, but it comes directly out of their building. You get through that manhole, and they have a flow meter in there, which set the sample right down in that flow.
Okay, okay. And this isn't normal, from everything I've read, correct?
This sample?
Yeah,
this
with the variations in the sample.
No.
Normally they're pretty standard and.
They're not, nothing spiked this high, no.
Okay, okay. No, where you pulled that, does it get, anybody else's come through that manhole or just
No,
off?
they're
Okay.
on the end of the line. Trident's does tie in farther north, but we we did that when we did the thing in 2011, I believe it was, so to make sure there was no backups.
How often do you test it?
Twice a month.
Twice a month. And this is the first time they've been over?
To this extent.
To this extent?
Yeah. Typically, we take the sample and it's averaged out, and then based on the flows, it's converted to pounds, and then the surcharges or usage charges are based off the poundage that goes into the sewer ponds.
Okay.
You know, I had a meeting with Ron, and you know, this is a tough situation because you have, you know, you have the contract, you have Bruce, who I know did a good job at getting the sample, but I also believe that, you know, Ron, when he's saying, you know, you know, they haven't had any that high. I mean, they've had some that vary, but nothing to this extent. So, and 48,000 is a lot of money. For just, I did talk to Bruce and Lacey a little bit, and you know, we've come up with some ideas and some suggestions that we could do to help out Maurice. I don't know how you guys feel.
Yeah. You know, I guess given, you know, their past history, you know, there hasn't been this kind of a situation. I myself feel that we should work with them. You guys are a huge part of our community, and you know, everybody looks for the fish when they go by. Everybody noticed when the fish was gone. But that's just my personal feeling.
Steve?
I also feel Maury's definitely a major player in our town. Business is business. I think contracts are for a reason, from the little company to the big company. And I think we have to pretty much follow those. I think we should work somehow with Maury's. But down the road, if nothing is done here in regard to the contract and what is stipulated in these contracts, the city of Motley we can get our hiney pitched down the road if we don't follow the contract. We do have leniency in lowering the fine, if any fine, but I think a contract is a contract, and I think any business needs to, it's just part of doing business in the United States, around the world. There have been, according to this chart here, there have been many times it's been over. Nothing like what happened here. I totally understand that, but there are several overages.
One of, if I may just add to that, one of the issues that Maurice has, and Ron, you would correct me if I'm right, that's what he explained to me, is that we did do a test. The test came out, you know, high. At this point, there's not enough solution to go do another test to verify. So we're just, they would like to retest and say why, you know, make sure that this is test. Do the pictures indicate that it was strong? I think it does. But at some point, it would be nice that we'd have another solution to prove that, you know, well, we can test and it does come up high, but that's the downfall part of it.
Are we testing often enough? Maybe Bruce, could you, I mean, twice a month, I mean, should we be testing, you know?
If we do more, it could come out to either side's benefit, and then it might just make a lot of extra cost for them.
I don't want to make any extra costs if unnecessary, but
yeah.
I mean, I'm hearing that maybe the sample isn't accurate, and I'm wondering if, you know, twice a month is getting an accurate picture of what's going on actually.
I'd like to think it is. I mean, I don't know what goes out on other days of the week when we're not sampling.
You think it is?
Yeah, I agree with Bruce. Actually, I believe we actually probably had that conversation when we were having a conversation about the initial scenario. We were trying to play many, we had a pretty in-depth conversation of what might have happened, how it may have happened. And Bruce was more than helpful in our communications. So, and I think we probably both, I don't want to put words in your mouth, Bruce, but I think we both came to the same conclusion that twice a month is probably fine. I mean, historically, it has been in a certain range. So.
Yeah, it's not bouncing typically all over the place where. I would agree. So.
Can I ask a
No, go ahead.
question? Did somebody contact the lab if you're saying that the sample, because is that what you're saying, is that the sample wasn't accurate when they tested it?
I'm saying that if it's a 24-hour composite, the way I understand is that there's supposed to be a certain amount taken out of our system every hour. And I'm saying that perhaps the mechanism in which it took the sample may not have been correct. I'm not saying that the lab itself made an error.
Okay.
I'm saying that the sampling mechanism at that particular point may have had a glitch.
I'm not sure on that one because it pulls 250 milliliters every hour until it fills up to half a jug typically. And if it had stuck on for an extended period of time, I should have had a larger quantity in the jug than I typically see. So.
And my thinking is I was thinking that perhaps there was a time during the day that it did stick on longer than it should have. And without having additional samples, it's difficult.
Yeah. At that point, I should have seen a larger volume in the jug.
Perhaps.
Yeah.
Would it continue to malfunction
Well,
if it did
you
one
would
time?
think
I don't know
one would
what,
think
I don't
so.
know how the mechanism
Typically, when I
works.
have problems with it,
Electronics
it's
are
with the battery
electronics.
connection or something, right? I don't know.
Yeah.
If I'm gonna have an issue with it.
And again, I want to stress that I'm not trying to cause any angst. I'm merely here asking the question.
No, Bruce did bring up to me, I did talk to Bruce at a lengthy time. He did bring up, there was a concern he had, and I'm just gonna add to it, that maybe we could resolve, you know, if the city does give you a break on the fine, this might be a thing that we might wanna request to have on it. And it's in the contract now, but it's calibration results, and basically, he's not getting notified of the results.
We have corrected that issue.
Okay,
Yes.
because that's one thing we'd like
We
to
did-
continue to do.
We have had it
I
calibrated,
have the latest
and
one here, but I'll send it to you.
we have corrected that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I think he wants to at some point, like, try it, and I think gives him like a 5-day notice, or, I mean, he's in town, he can come at any time, so.
Absolutely, yes.
You guys just notify him and let him come out,
Right.
and,
And I believe it's the same person that does your calibration.
Mark
Yeah.
Allen.
Yeah, Mark.
No. Texas, Mark, his name's Mark Allen.
I think they're different.
We have,
Oh,
okay.
we have addressed that in-house to make sure that that's correct.
All right, does the, go ahead.
At what point, Ron, does it become cost prohibitive? I don't know if that's right. For your business to buy or purchase the equipment or the process needed to install? Because I know that was mentioned and the company did not want to do it because the cost was too high. That the company didn't want to invest in that.
Yeah, we are continuing to look at different ways to do that. The challenge with the cost was it wasn't just the piece of equipment, it was the additional chemicals that we would have had to use. coupled with the, and I shared with Mary Yoder, coupled with the assessments that are already on our property, in excess of $130,000 a year, it's a really, really big expense. And we are trying to look at different ways, different processes to reduce the BODs, to reduce the phosphorus. We continue to look at those processes. I would be happy off the record to share some of the things that we're looking at. Because there are some technologies that we're looking at. I know we've talked to Bruce. We've tried to keep Bruce up to date of what we're looking at. We try to include him when we bring people out to say, does this make sense? He's been very good with his time to come over and chat. So we do continue to look for those things.
Anybody have anything else? So we can either make a decision tonight, or we can put it on the agenda for next month. I don't know if you guys want to talk more about it.
I think if we do put it off, I think a meeting where the 5 of us can, without the open meeting law, where we're together as a unit to discuss it. And one thing, Trident will be also watching what's happening. And I'm a big fan of Maury's, don't get me wrong, it's strictly business. And I think something has to be done, but to what extent?
Sure. And again, I would encourage, if there are additional questions as the 5 of you meet, please note that we will do the best we can to address those.
So first of all, we can't have a meeting to the 5 of us meet, because it is open and public. So we either have to do another open forum, or we discuss it tonight. I know it would be easier. I get it, but that's the way the rules are. How do you guys feel, the rest of you?
My thoughts are, it's nice to have a good working relationship. You guys employ a lot of people from our community, so we definitely don't want a bad blood between the two. So even if you look at the worst one from the charts that I've looked over, the worst one is at 1,000 pounds a day. That was the worst that I've seen it from the past. So even if we dropped it down to that, you're still getting dinged, but yet it's not, because like you say, it could have been an issue or something malfunctioned or something. Who knows?
Yeah. And here's my thing. My thing is, we do have a contract in place, and